अमृता कालिंदिनी रे राजा सकेली करो अमृता कालिंदिनी रे राजा सकेली कोई ताई शुभिका
Before you sing the next one.
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimate Jaya Pataka Swami Namine Namaste Namacharya Padaya Kritai Kripadaya Gaurakata Dadaya Nagara Brahmatarini Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Krishna Premamai Radha, Radha Premamayo Hari. Krishna Premamai Radha, Radha Premamayo Hari. Jivani Nidani Nityam, Radha Krishna Bhaktir Mama. Jivani Nidani Nityam, Radha Krishna Bhaktir Mama. Krishna Dravinam Radha, Radhaya Dravinam Hari. Krishna Dravinam Radha, Radhaya Dravinam Hari. Jivani Nadani Nityam, Radha Krishna Bhaktir Mama. Jivani Nadani Nityam, Radha Krishna Bhaktir Mama. Pranamani Radha, Radha Pranamayo Hari. Pranamani Radha, Radha Hari. Jivani Nadani Nityam, Radha Krishna Bhaktir Mama. Jivani Nadani Nityam, Radha Krishna Bhaktir Mama. Ravamai Radha, Radha Ravamayo Hari. Ravamai One second, Prabhu. Sorry for the inconvenience. Sing together.
It is.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. You sure?
Prasiddham Navanitacharam
Prasidam Navanitacharam Rasakrida
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Gauraganyam namami. Gauraganyam namami. नाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Vihara and team. Yes, is there?
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for this opportunity, and please bless all of us.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for making the last day of Kartik the auspicious and bring Vrindavan right to Shamdesh. Big Hare Krishna mantra from all of us in Shamdesh. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Rasakrida Parayana PrabhuJi with us today. PrabhuJi has joined, right, and is spotlighted. Sadarna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hari Bol Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Pranam. Welcome, welcome. And we have our old timers all here today. Grace Vagar Krishna Prabhuji also. And I wanted to give the honors of introducing Rasakrida Prabhuji to both of them, to Govinda Prabhuji and to Sugar Krishna Prabhuji. That will do justice, I think, more than me.
Hare Krishna.
First of all, there is no need for that, Radhabhav Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Need for us.
Please, please,
Grace,
go ahead.
His Grace Rasakrida Prabhu ki Jai.
Jai, Haribo.
Actually, Rasakrida Prabhu, he actually came to Shamadesh in 94 or 95, Prabhu?
95.
95. Actually, I came to Shamadesh in 93, started in a small way. Shama Hari Prabhu was the first member. And when Prabhu came, I gave the charge and he started doing. So my duty was to bring people and Prabhu's duty was to hold them tight because his classes are so wonderful. Bhagavatam, we go in the morning until 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, we are there. And again, I'll go in the afternoon for Bengali class and Prabhu will come for the evening and whole day goes like that. So after Prabhu left, he left in 2001 or 2002, Prabhu.
2000.
Which year you left?
2000.
Huh?
2000, Prabhu.
2000. So after that is a Virabha separation. But again, today I'm fortunate to see our Guru back and he's my Shiksha Guru. And classes are fabulous. I called about 100 people of my friends now from Delhi and all to attend this class. So please, I want your association. I want your blessings, Prabhu. Seek your blessings. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji also is involved with a lot of GBC work. He's been stalwart in our strategic planning committee after the thing was established. And Prabhuji is very diligently training a lot of new devotees and senior leaders for the future of our ISKCON. So there are a lot of activities which he has not told me also, but I come to know from different places. We would like to hear about it also from him. And today being the last day of Kartik, I request PrabhuJi to take us to Vrindavan also during the class and also give us some memories of Gurudev, which he had very exclusively during the travels. I know he was always, I remember him very close to Guru Maharaj, making him laugh always with some jokes, etc., which was very rare. So we would like to hear all those things. And there's no time restriction, Prabhuji, for you. So all of us and welcoming you, and of course, praying for Mataji and children. A big Hare Krishna mantra from all of us in Shamanish.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rasakrida Prabhuji, only one request. We normally have a Hindi translation by Himango Prabhuji. So if you want to follow the same pattern of an English from your side and then he translating, or you do both. So how do you want to do it?
मैं थोड़ी हिंदी अंग्रेजी kind of sort of overlaps, but Himango Prabhu can, I'm sure, do a much better job on Hindi.
So thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. धन्यवाद. धन्यवाद आपकी सेवा करने का मौका दिया.
That is Himango Prabhu's special quality for a long time.
All your prayers.
आपका हिंदी भी बहुत बढ़िया है. आपका हिंदी भी बहुत बढ़िया है. दिल्ली वाला हिंदी है. And when we see Prabhu look like Guru Maharaj sitting, ऐसे लगता है कभी-कभी when I see him sitting on the Vyasasana.
Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Bo.
Vacha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So very happy to hear from Sukhakar Prabhu, to see Sukhakar Prabhu after a long time, and it feels like yesterday because the way he speaks, I feel that it's, the same days when Sukhakar Prabhu with his very animated excitement and enthusiasm. So I'm very happy to see you, Prabhu, that you're
Thank you.
doing
Thank
well.
you, Prabhu.
You're happy, you're healthy.
Thank you, Prabhu.
And I'm sure Mataji and our dear Bianta.
Vandita Haripriya Devidasi.
Yeah. I heard that she got initiated. So
2 sons, 9-year-old Rishabh Dev and Dhruva,
Yes.
3 years old.
well, we see Sabdari Prabhu because he's kind of a celebrity even within ISKCON. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
All your blessings. Keep all of us in your prayers and blessings, Prabhu. Please, always that is needed. आपका छात्र छाया में हम जिएंगे. छात्र छाया. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And wonderful to see you, Radhabha Prabhu. We haven't met in person for a long time. And it was so wonderful to see. I didn't see Govinda Prabhu, but I heard his and the children's melodious kirtan. He's a man who's always in the background, but anyone who's in the background is like the spine of the body. Nobody sees the spine, but without the spine, the body can't stand. So I see Govinda Prabhu like that, who's my
perfect.
My Vartama Pradarshak Guru, who back in 1991, I presume, or 90 end, it was 91, in the Darthe temple, he was the one who came up to me and gave me the address to the satsangs that were going on at that time. And so I, with a very grateful heart, I always remember him very fondly, and also my gratitude continues to be nurtured in my heart for him. It is very, it's a very great fortune that you get individuals in your life who guide you to where we belong, and that's really the subject matter that Radhabha Prabhu told me to speak on, while he has now added many more things. The 5th chapter of the 2nd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karanam. And And therefore, it's a great fortune, anyone who comes in our lives to guide us to the cause of all causes. Otherwise, we can get carried away in the aham mameti conception of life. So before we go there, I also want to thank His Grace Radhabha Prabhu for giving me an opportunity to associate with all of you wonderful devotees. Radhabha Prabhu came to Sharjah and he stayed with us for about a week with Anantirth Prabhu, who is currently serving in Mayapur as secretary to the GVC body and was a dear friend of mine, still is. And Radhabha Prabhu then became a dear friend. And I still remember the fried soya chunks that he made. I don't know whether we're supposed to eat soya these days or not. I don't know what the GBC resolution on that is. But I know for sure at that time, I still remember the crispy fried soya chunks that he made. And besides that, the wonderful association that we have had on many occasions. We've had prasadam together. We've had samvad. That's what the entire Vedic text is all about. Dialogues. And if the dialogues are related to Krishna, then they are uplifting and liberating. And if the dialogue is to do with the material energy, then obviously we all know and understand that it brings us down our consciousness. So I've had some very nice dialogues with Radhabha Prabhu. And I look forward to someday connect back and possibly have prasadam again and have some good dialogues. I've also not met Govinda Prabhu for a long time. I'm also guilty of not connecting with him when we had decided to. So I'll make up for that also. Wonderful to see, as I said, Sukkar Prabhu after a long, long time, and very happy that he's happy. And all the devotees whom I may have not known from the past, my humble obeisances to all of you. Himango Prabhu, for sure, I've known him.
Arjun Jivan Prabhu is there. Arjun Jivan Prabhu.
Oh, Arjun Jivan Prabhu. So someday, I'm sure there will be satsangs will happen and then we can get together. Oh, Arjun Jivan Prabhu, Hare Krishna. We can get together and we can hug each other. We can sit, talk, laugh, honor Krishna Prasad together. I think that is very infectious. In the purport to the 30th verse of the 5th chapter of the 2nd canto, that's the verse that Radhabha Prabhu told me to speak on. In that particular chapter, Prabhupada talks about material disease. So when we meet the devotees, when we, sit and honor Krishna Prasad with the devotees, Krishna Katha with devotees, all that is part of the prescription given to us by the Lord and His pure devotee Srila Prabhupada and the followers of Prabhupada who are continuing to give us the same Aushadhi, Bhava Aushadhi, to cure our material disease, which is centered around the conception of Aham Mameti, me and mine. The 9th chapter of the 2nd canto begins with that whole notion that it begins that our problems of life are on account of Aham Mameti, but when we connect with transcendence, then we start to cure that disease. the entire second canto obviously is centered around creation. That's the whole subject of the entire canto. And it begins with, our realizations of the Lord, from the very first step to Paramatma within the heart. And then it establishes the supremacy of bhakti, to realize the Lord as a person, because the first step to God realization is, the material creation, the world that we see, the touch and feel world that we are very used to. Himango Prabhu, I
Yes,
didn't
Prabhu.
stop, and you're supposed to, so I don't know how to.
ओके ओके आई विल, मैं अभी थोड़ा बोल देगा जितना भी
हाँ।
इसका शॉर्टकट में सारांश में बोल
हाँ,
दूंगा।
शॉर्टकट में आप कर दीजिएगा प्रभु
हाँ,
जी।
तो प्रभु ने सबसे पहले तो जब सुख प्रभु ने उनका मतलब उनको वेलकम किया है, उनका स्वागत किया है हमारी यात्रा में, जो कि पहले एक्चुअली प्रभु ने इसको आरंभ किया, स्टार्ट किया। सुख प्रभु ने बताया कि कैसे पहले सुख प्रभु यहाँ पे आए थे, लेकिन बाद में फिर रासक्रीड़ा प्रभु ने उसको बहुत आगे बढ़ाया यात्रा को, और काफी बहुत अच्छा उनका प्रवचन रहता है भागवतम का, और बहुत अच्छा प्रवचन करके कई लोगों को भक्ति में उन्होंने उठाया है। इसके बाद राधावा प्रभु ने उनका जो परिचय कराया कि प्रभु जी अभी गवर्निंग बॉडी कमीशन में जो है उसमें है हमारी जो मायापुर में भी, तो वहां पे भी काफी अच्छी सेवाएं कर रहे हैं प्रभु जी। और इसके अलावा काफी सालों से जुड़े हुए हैं, और राधाबा प्रभु उनके साथ रहे थे, जैसा भी रासक्रीड़ा प्रभु ने बताया कि उनका भी संग रहा, उनका एक हफ्ता उनके साथ में रहे हैं। इसके बाद गोविंदा प्रभु का उन्होंने बताया उनके वर्तमान पथ प्रदर्शक गुरु रहे हैं, क्योंकि गोविंदा प्रभु दार्शनिक मंदिर में उनके पास गए थे, उनको एड्रेस दिया था यहाँ पे प्रोग्राम होता है और वहां पे आप आइए, तो उनका भी आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। वैसे तो सभी जो भी जो प्रभु बहुत हम्बल है, तो उन्होंने सब भक्तों को बोला है कि मुझे बहुत, सबको उन्होंने दंड प्रणाम किया है, और उन्होंने बोला है कि आपका संग मुझे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है, और मैं आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ कि मुझे आज अवसर दिया गया आप सबका संग करके। और इसके बाद उन्होंने जैसे प्रभु को दिया गया दूसरा अध्याय का जो दूसरा स्कंद का जो 5वां अध्याय है, 5वां अध्याय का 3रा श्लोक, तो उसमें जैसे बता रहे हैं प्रभु की जैसे हमारे जो संसार में जितनी भी समस्या है या हमें जो भी मानसिक तनाव वगैरह जो भी आता है, वो सब जब अहम ममेति में जब हम समझते कि मैं ही सब कर रहा हूँ या मैं ही मेरा है, ये सब मैं कर रहा हूँ, तो वहां से हमारी समस्या स्टार्ट हो जाती है। लेकिन ये जो दूसरा स्कंद है उसमें पूरा यही बताया गया कि भगवान जो है पृष्ठभूमि में है हर चीज के। तो और एक अच्छा चीज उन्होंने बताया कि जैसे गोविंदा प्रभु के बारे में उन्होंने एक्चुअली बहुत कुछ किया है, आज भी कीर्तन अच्छा किया था कि जैसे कि रीढ़ की हड्डी दिखती नहीं है, वैसे रीढ़ की हड्डी जैसा है गोविंदा प्रभु, ये उन्होंने उनका गुणगान किया। और दूसरा ये बताया अभी कि जो भगवान भी है वो एक्चुअली उनका रूप है, वो साकार रूप है उनका। तो ये जब हम दूसरा जो स्कंद जो कि पूरा सृष्टि की रचना के ऊपर बताया गया है, और आज का जो अध्याय सब कारणों के कारण, तो उसमें आज चर्चा की जाएगी, और उसका अगर हम अपने जीवन में उतार पाएंगे तो हम अहम ममेति का जो हमारा जो रोग है, जैसे प्रभुपाद हमें बता रहा है, वो रोग से हम मुक्त हो जाएंगे, और हमेशा हम है ना देव आनंद की अनुभूति करेंगे, और हमेशा हम आनंद में रहेंगे। हरे कृष्ण। तो
वेरी नाइस हिमांगु प्रभु।
धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत अच्छी तरह आप करते हैं, और मुझे बड़ा अजीब सा लग रहा है कि अगर कोई पाश्चात्य देश के भक्त हों तो हिंदी के अनुवाद चाहिए होता है। मैं तो पाश्चात्य का नहीं हूं, तो बड़ा पहली बारी अजीब लगा कि मैं अंग्रेजी में बोल रहा हूँ और हिमांगु प्रभु उसको हिंदी में।
प्रभु इसकी वजह और भी है कि हेमो प्रभु अगर ये सेवा नहीं देगा ना, फिर वो तो बहुत पंगा कर देता हमारे
तो ये तो हम तो चाह रहे आप लोग की सेवा करते रहे, बस आप वैष्णव की सेवा करते रहे, हम तो बहुत छोटे हैं, एकदम तुच्छ प्राणी।
थैंक यू प्रभु जी, थैंक यू सो मच। आप बहुत अच्छी तरह करते हैं अनुवाद। और मैंने देखा जब आप बोल रहे थे तो मैं देख रहा था हमारे गोविंदा प्रभु भी हैं, बट उनका वीडियो ऑन नहीं है तो उनके दर्शन नहीं हुए हैं। एंड आई सी दैट अपूर्व शक्ति इज आल्सो देयर एंड गौरंगी माता जी इज आल्सो देयर। सो लास्ट में सबके दर्शन, खासकर जिनके साथ बहुत पहले संपर्क थे, वो जरूर राधा
मिलेगा, जरूर मिलेगा,
स्क्रीन पे,
जरूर
और
मिलेगा।
बाद में सब भक्तों का एक गैलरी व्यू लेके, सो दैट सब वीडियो ऑन करें. तो in fact, you can remove the spotlight from me and you can have all the devotees on the screen. It's not necessary to be spotlighted. We'll try that how Prabhupada spotlights the spotless Bhagavad Puran, and how that can be lit up within our hearts is very important. We need to focus more on the Jnana Deepena Bhasvata, the light, the shining light of knowledge that the Lord within our hearts as Paramatma is sitting, waiting for us to look towards Him, that, oh Lord, oh my supreme doctor, please cure me of my material disease, of aham mameti, of all the misconceptions and doubts that I have, which is not helping me to fall in love with you. It is one thing to become a devotee, but it's another thing to fall in love with Krishna. How much have we fallen in love with Krishna? That is where the subliminality and the subtlety of Krishna consciousness comes in front of our eyes. Then we realize, oh my God, I've been chanting for so many years, but what kind of chanting? I've been doing sevas, as we all, appreciate for each other, but then where has it taken me eventually is something to be thought out. So it's up to you, but the spotlight can be on everyone. We can see each other, and I can repeat something that Prabhupada is going to say.
तो प्रभु ने बताया अभी कि कैसे हम लोग जब ये अगर सब, मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि मेरे को सिर्फ है ना फोकस नहीं किया जाए, मेरे को केंद्र में बिंदु नहीं बनाया जाए, सब भक्तों का एक साथ में रखा जाए और सब वो भी फोकस, वो भी उनको केंद्र में होना चाहिए. तो ये प्रभु की जो नम्रता है उसके कारण सब बोल रहे हैं. और दूसरा ये बताया है कि कैसे हम लोगों को हम लोग भक्त बनना तो बहुत आसान है, लेकिन कृष्ण से प्रेम करना, तो कृष्ण के प्रेम जाल में फंसना, वो एक जो सबसे ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण बात है. तो हम कई साल, कभी कभी ऐसा लगता है बहुत सालों से हम जपा कर रहे हैं, लेकिन फिर लगता है अरे हमको तो कृष्ण से प्रेम तो कुछ हो ही नहीं पाया, अभी हम तो वहीं के वहीं रह गए. तो ऐसा करके, लेकिन जब जैसी हम ये प्रभुपाद का जो आज का हम जैसे पढ़ेंगे, इसमें हम ममेटी का जो हमारा जो रोग है वो है ना, हमें समाप्त करने के लिए फिर हमें जैसे प्रार्थना करेंगे, भगवान कृष्ण से प्रार्थना करेंगे कि हमारा जो ये जो रोग है, कृपा करके रोग को है ना खत्म करिए और हम अपने प्रेम जाल में हमें फंसाइए कृष्णा, हम ताकि हम आपके से प्रेम कर सकें. हरे कृष्णा.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So actually, Radhabha Prabhu said about Guru Maharaj. So I'm just reminded that few things. One of the qualities of Guru Maharaj, which we all have seen and we know, is his quality of, he's very, one can have a negative connotation to it, but in his case, it's all positive. He's very stubborn. That can also be taken as determined. So when I look at Guru Maharaj from the time when I came in contact with him and to his physical manifestation now, so externally, he has transformed from how I'm purely talking about myself and how I relate with him. So I saw him in one light physically, and now he's manifested in a different light. So externally, everything has changed. Everything has changed externally. And the change is so, I would say, so grave and intense that for many of us, we may think that with this change, I probably may not be able to live. But yet, that determined common streak in him, which is what continues to inspire us, is that I'm not this body, but I'm a spirit soul. And he continues to act on the platform of that soul. That means he certainly is a great inspiration to us of not not at all being under the influence of even a minute tinge of aham mameti, I and mine conception. Because the I and mine conception has a lot to do with my external manifestation of my body, mind, and senses. But so that means you've been cured of that material disease. So there may be jara and vyadhi manifesting, but that material disease of I and mine has been totally overcome. And one is totally determined and stubborn to the point of being stubborn, fixated on the platform of being an Atma. So truly, that is one thing that I see in our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, that so when I was reading the text from the Bhagavatam, and then Radha Bhava Prabhu is asking, and I'm thinking something more pertinent and contextual to what I was reading. So I was thinking, obviously, Prabhupada is the preeminent Siksha Guru and the pure devotee of the Lord who came on this earth planet to give us this disease, this aushadhi for this material disease. But then, because we are all, God brothers and God sisters, so it's a good opportunity to see them in the light of the philosophy that we are all reading, trying to understand, and also realize, hopefully, by the mercy of our respected gurus. So this is one point I wanted to share when I was reading, and it came through in my mind, that many things can change from outside, and these transformations will happen to us also. But will we remain as determined and fixated on the platform of the soul is a big question mark.
तो अभी जैसे राधा बाबा प्रभु ने इनको बोला था प्रभु जी को कि आप है ना गुरु महाराज के साथ आपका जो भी है जो संपर्क में रहे काफी समय तक, और उनके साथ जो भी कुछ आपका जो खुद का जो साक्षात्कार है वो उसका वर्णन कीजिए। तो बता रहे हैं प्रभु जी कि हमने जब मैं बहुत साल पहले जब उनसे मिला था, तो जो उनका शारीरिक रूप से जो उनका जो भी बनावट थी उनके शरीर की, वो और अभी आज में वो पूरा एकदम ही बदल गया है, एकदम परिवर्तन आ गया है, पूरा पूर्ण रूप से परिवर्तन हो गया है, आ गया उनमें। लेकिन उनका जो स्वभाव है, उनका जो भी आध्यात्मिक स्वभाव है, उनकी आत्मा का जो स्वभाव है, जैसे मैं पहले जो देखता था कि उनका बहुत ही दृढ़ संकल्प है उनमें, और बहुत जिद्दी टाइप के हैं कि अगर वो अपने सेवा उनको करना है तो करेंगे ही वो सेवा, और उस सेवा पे चिपके रहेंगे एकदम। उस टाइप का जो जिद्दीपन और दृढ़ संकल्प है वो आज भी उनमें है। तो इससे हमें ये जो गुरु महाराज देखा जाए तो हम सबके लिए प्रेरणा के स्रोत है कि हम ये शरीर नहीं है, क्योंकि वो अपने आप को शरीर का जो ये जो है उनका शरीर का कॉन्सेप्ट, शरीर का जो एक देखा जाए तो हम सब अपने आप को शरीर समझते हैं, हम ममेती इन सबसे ऊपर उठ चुके हैं। और ये मैं और मेरा का जो है इस जो भी ये जो इसके स्वभाव उनका ऑलमोस्ट नष्ट हो चुका है, उनके उससे कोई इसमें है ही नहीं, रंच मात्रा भी नहीं। वो सब अपने आप को एक आत्मा मानते हैं, और उससे हमको सबको सिखाने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं कि हम लोग है ना आत्मा है, हम शरीर नहीं है। और ये खुद उन्होंने इसको मतलब साक्षात्कार करके और वो हम सबका दिखा रहे हैं अपनी सेवा के द्वारा कि कैसे हम दृढ़ संकल्प रह सकते हैं, और दृढ़ संकल्प रहते हुए फिर एक दिन हम भी इस स्तर पर पहुंच जाएंगे कि हम अपने आप को है ना शरीर नहीं समझ के हम आत्मा समझेंगे, और हम ममेती का ये रोग से हम मुक्त हो सकेंगे। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Now I can see Govinda Prabhu. Oh.
हरि बोल।
Oh. I'm also Govinda Prabhu. When I bow down, can you see the I'm competing with you. I'm also losing hair now. From back, I live a very deceptive life. I look like a devotee. But I'm far from being a devotee. I
Prabhu, I lost the maximum hairs. Deceptive hair.
Sukar Prabhu, you always had less hair, na? Isn't it? Even before. Like
Abhi
Radha
zyada ho gaya.
Prabhu always
Yeah.
had very less hair. I think Arjun Jeevan Prabhu also, I didn't see him with a lot of hair. Radha
Yes.
Prabhu was always a clean shaven.
We follow Srila Prabhupada in the background of your.
हरी बोल हरी बोल.
But
आपका स्टाइलिश हेयर था राधाकृष्ण प्रभु. आपका स्टाइलिश हेयर था, फिल्म एक्टर जैसा था.
Arey. That is why I said filmy people, they show something else, there are something else.
No, I didn't mean that. Role model.
And so the youngest of us all is Govinda. He
Hare
is
Bol.
still in his 20s.
Yes,
Yes.
हरी बोल हरी
ये
बोल
पता
हरी बोल.
करना है ये कौन सी खिचड़ी खाते हैं.
अभी उनका अभी somebody will ask his horoscope now. उसको देख के.
I dread his hugs. He can break your ribs.
Yeah.
अरे
Very
मैं
strong.
बहुत स्ट्रांग है. मैं तो एक दिन बोला बाबा तुम इतना हक कर मेरी हड्डियां टूट जाएगी. 2 दिन तक दर्द होता है.
मैं वीडियो ऑफ करके रख रहा था आपको क्लास का डिस्ट्रैक्ट करने.
The loving hugs that can break your ribs.
मेरा
ask Slava Padrata Pilis with your Bolana Chetan Prabhu, you can break me.
Okay, I want to tell something about Sukar Prabhu. So, you know, we would have classes. So Guru Maharaj would be giving class and Sukar Prabhu always used to sit in the front. Always. He was the first line, first row. And as usual, all of you must have experienced that during Bhagavatam. Why do you think I changed a little bit of a track? Because just so that in Bhagavatam, we get the best sleep. You know, why never take, sleeping pills. Just sit in Bhagavatam, you'll get good sleep. And I'll tell you about that. So once in a while, Sukar Prabhu would doze off, because the Bhagavatam is so transcendental that it puts you to sleep,
Guda ka Mataji comes.
And then after the class would be over, so the usual, as Prabhupada taught us, any questions. So Guru Maharaj would ask any questions. The first question will come from Sukar Prabhu.
हरी बोल हरी बोल हरी बोल.
And then I would wonder, when did Sukar Prabhu hear and to ask the question?
तो प्रभु जी बता रहे हैं कि जब गुरु महाराज जब आते थे तो जब कक्षा होती थी श्रीमद् भागवतम की तो उस टाइम सुखा कपूर सबसे पहली लाइन पे सबसे आगे आगे बैठते थे एकदम. लेकिन देखा जाए तो ज्यादातर तो अगर जो सोना अगर किसी को नींद नहीं आती है तो उसको अगर नींद आने के लिए गोली लेता है उसको जरूरत नहीं है. अगर वो भागवतम की कक्षा में बैठ जाए तो ऑटोमेटिक नींद आएगी, उनको स्वतः ही नींद आना चालू हो जाएगी. लेकिन यहाँ पे जो सुखा कपूर की जब कक्षा समाप्त होती तो जैसे गुरु महाराज पूछते थे कोई प्रश्न है, जैसे प्रभुपाद ने ये स्टाइल बनाया है हमारा कि कक्षा खत्म होने के बाद पूछते कोई प्रश्न है तो सुखा कपूर का सबसे पहले हाथ खड़ा होता था. तो मेरे को ये बहुत ही आश्चर्यचकित हो जाता था कि सुखा कपूर ने क्या पूरी कक्षा का ध्यान से सुना है कि एकदम उनको प्रश्न भी आ गया उनके दिमाग में.
So you see, from this we learn also that all of us are in sleep. You can take the horse to the water, but you can't force anyone to drink. So we are in the slumber on account of this misconception. So in as much as Dhritarashtra was also physically blind, but he was also transcendentally blind also. So this sleep is likened to the darkness of ignorance, because that's what sleep does. It takes us into a illusory world and gets us into a dreamy state of existence. So our current existence is actually a very dreamy state. We tend to think a lot in terms of our identifications with this body, with the designations of this body, man and a woman, husband and a wife, mother, father, brother, sister, whatever the relationships of the world, social designations, professional designations, political designations. So this is being in a state of sleep and slumber. But the right thing is to ask questions. How do we get out of the sleep, and how do we shake ourselves out of the sleep is then when we start to question. But when will we question? We only question when we are inquisitive, jigyasu. So in the 5th chapter of the Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, there are Narad Muni's questions, right? Bhagavad Gita is all about questioning. The entire Bhagavatam text is based on samvad, questions and answers. So Narad Muni is asking questions. He has certain convictions and he has certain doubts in relation to Brahmaji, who is his father. So he asked a question from Brahmaji that, please, you got to tell me about give me the transcendental knowledge which would help me to understand and direct me to the real truth of the difference between the soul and super soul. What is the difference between Atma and Paramatma? That transcendental knowledge was the first question. And then we find that in the beginning of the chapter, he talks about, please tell me about the the material universe. What is the shelter of this material universe, Adhishthanam? And what is the Shrishti? That means this entire thing was created by whom? Who created? Is it you, Brahmaji? So his conviction was, my father created everything. If you see that was his conviction. He says, and then he's asking him, what does this whole creation depend upon? And then he says, no, but you're the supreme creator, my father. You are the supreme creator. But he also then follows it up with a doubt. He says, if you are the supreme creator, I don't think so. Because you're meditating on someone. Because if we know how Brahmaji came about, Brahmaji came about from the navel of Vishnu, right? From the lotus stem. When he came, he didn't find anything. There was nothing. He got, he got fearful. And then what did he do? He prayed and he heard two words, ta and pa. And then he heard that. He didn't see anything till date. And he heard ta and pa, and that's what he started doing. He performed ghor tapasya, ghoram, ghor, severe austerities for a long, long period of time, 1,000 years. And after he performed those tapasya, Krishna was pleased. And when he was pleased, he was given two things. One, he was given Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavya. He was given the transcendental knowledge which passed from heart to heart. And the second thing that he was given was the potency to create. So that means, so now Krishna, Naraji is saying, excuse me, my dad, my father, Brahma, you actually did meditation. Then if you did meditation and then created, that means that the personality that you meditated upon, that power to create must have come from there. So that's how the journey begins. Questioning, convictions, and those convictions sometimes can be wrong. They turn into doubts then. And when they turn into doubts, what do? We go and accept a spiritual master. And that is the journey of awakening. From our sleep and slumber to the journey of awakening begins.
हरे कृष्णा। तो ये जो प्रभु ने बहुत अच्छे ढंग से यहाँ समझाया, तो जैसे बता रहे हैं कि जब जब कोई व्यक्ति जब सो रहा होता है तो उस टाइम में पूरा उसको किसी अलग ही दुनिया में चला जाता है, सपनों की दुनिया में, जो कि सपना जिसका कोई मतलब यथार्थ रूप में है ही नहीं, वो उसमें कोई सत्यता है ही नहीं उसमें। तो उसमें ठीक उसी तरह जैसे कि संसार में भी ज्यादातर लोग हैं, वो भी जो भले लगता है कि जगे हुए हैं, लेकिन वो जगे हुए नहीं है, क्योंकि उनको आत्मा के बारे में, हम आत्मा है, हम शरीर नहीं है, इसके बारे में कुछ ज्ञान नहीं है। वो पूरा एक अज्ञान के अंधकार में अपने आप को शरीर से वो पहचान करते हैं कि मेरा ये उपाधि है मेरे पास। अपनी उपाधियों से ही वो अपने आप को अलंकृत करते हैं कि मैं है ना कोई भी राजनीतिक पार्टी में ये मेरा पदवी पे हूँ मैं, या हमारे ऑफिस में ये पदवी पे हूँ, या मेरे घर पे मैं ये हूँ, मेरा पिता हूँ, माता हूँ, जो भी हमारी जो विभिन्न प्रकार की पदवियों से अपने आप को वो है ना अलंकृत करके उसी में वो डूबे रहते हैं उसमें। लेकिन वो इसको ही हम बोलते हैं कि अज्ञान का अंधकार। तो अज्ञान का अंधकार इसके कारण ही जो मैं और मेरा ये वाला जो हमेशा उनके दिमाग में रहता है, ये मैं है और मेरा है, ये ऐसा करके, और इससे ऊपर नहीं आ पाते। तो इसी को बोलते हैं ये सोने की अवस्था है ये। लेकिन जैसे ही हम लोग जब यहाँ पे जो पूरा जो भागवतम है, भागवतम में भी पूरा यही अभी बताया गया कि कैसे प्रश्न और उत्तर, और उसके बाद उसकी समझ, आपको क्या समझ में आता है उत्तर पाने के बाद। तो यहाँ पे जो नारद मुनि भी जो ब्रह्मा जी को पूछते हैं, क्योंकि पहले तो वो समझते हैं कि नहीं नहीं ब्रह्मा जी आप ही ने पूरा सृष्टि की रचना की है और आप सृष्टि लेकिन बाद में, लेकिन मुझे तो पहले यही लगा था कि आप मैंने सृष्टि की रचना की है आपने, लेकिन फिर मैंने देखा कि आप मैंने समाधि लगा रहे हैं, किसी का नाम ले रहे हैं, किसी के ऊपर आप ध्यान लगा रहे हैं। तो इसलिए मुझे एकदम शंका होने लगी कि इसका मतलब यही है कि आपसे भी बढ़ के कोई है जिसने आपको ये प्रेरणा दी सृष्टि की, आप इसको सृष्टि रचने की आपको शक्ति दी है। तो आपको जैसे कि हम मालूम है कि कैसे ब्रह्मा जी जो है वो उनकी उत्पत्ति कैसे हुई, विष्णु जी के जो नाभि में से जो कमल का जो तना निकला, कमल के तने के ऊपर जो कमल के फूल के ऊपर तना निकला, तने के अंत में जो कमल था, कमल के ऊपर बैठे हुए हैं। और जब उनको लगा कि अरे मैं कौन हूँ, उनको घबराहट होने लगी, भय सा लगने लगा कि मेरी उत्पत्ति कैसे हुई यार, क्यों हुई है, क्या कारण है, मैं कौन हूँ। तो तब उनको आवाज आती है त और प करके, तपा करके। फिर वो उन्होंने तपस्या की, और फिर जब उनकी तपस्या प्रसन्न होकर जब आते हैं भगवान विष्णु, तो फिर वो उनको दो चीज देते हैं। एक तो उनको ज्ञान देते हैं, आध्यात्मिक जो जो अंदर से जो ज्ञान देना चाहिए सब वेदों का और शास्त्रों का, वो ज्ञान देते हैं। दूसरा उनको सृष्टि की रचना करने की जो शक्ति देते हैं, ये दो चीज देते हैं। तो इसलिए जो इसमें जो हम जो समझते हैं, जो हमारी समझ होती है प्रश्न उत्तर होने के बाद हमें जो समझ, तो कभी कभी समझ में भी ऐसा जरूरी नहीं कि हम पूर्ण रूप से समझ रहे इस ज्ञान को, आत्मा और परमात्मा ज्ञान। कभी कभी उसमें भी कुछ शंकाएं, शंकास्पद हो उठते हैं हम लोग, उसमें भी कुछ शंकाएं होती है। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा। एक्चुअली अब मैं राधा बाबा प्रभु को देख पा रहा हूँ। पहले वो बैकग्राउंड, पहले वो थोड़ा डार्क था, अब लाइट है। सो नाउ I am rid of the darkness of ignorance. I can full glory. And so, you know, the 9th verse of this chapter, I want to take inspiration from there and thank Radha Baba Prabhu, in as much as Lord Brahma thanked Naradji. He told Naradji that actually you're my inspiration. You asked this question that is inspiring me to now talk about the Supreme Lord and do my meditation. So that prayer, that what Brahmaji said, I want to thank Radha Baba Prabhu for inviting, because I know one thing, that there are many of you, my dear God brothers, and many of you who are more realized and understand Shastras better than me and speak better than me, but because by the mercy of the devote, all of you, and Radha Baba Prabhu, who has given me this opportunity, so this has become my inspiration to be able to share the little that I know and practically nothing that I have realized. So thank you, Radha Baba Prabhu. That is how Lord Brahma addressed his son. He said that that I'm, you're inspiring me to meditate upon the Lord. That's the whole idea, that we inspire each other to talk about Krishna and meditate.
हरे कृष्णा, हरे कृष्णा। तो अभी यहाँ पे जैसे प्रभु ने बताया कि राधा व प्रभु का पहले, क्योंकि पीछे पूरा अंधकार सा दिख रहा था उनके जो पीछे का जो बैकग्राउंड में, लेकिन अभी जैसे ही उन्होंने पूरा उनका चेहरा उनका और पूरा सब एकदम आधा पूरा दिखने लगा मुझे, तो मुझे भी ऐसे ही लगा जिससे मुझे प्रेरणा मिली जैसे उनसे, कि जैसे कि यहाँ पे जो ब्रह्मा जी जी बोलते हैं अपने पुत्र नारद को, तो वैसे ही मैं भी ऐसे ही जानता हूँ कि मैं तो इतना मतलब साक्षात्कार तो नहीं कर पाया हूँ, हो सकता थोड़ा बहुत ज्ञान, लेकिन फिर भी जितने भी लोग यहाँ पे इकट्ठा हुए मेरे गुरु भाई लोग हैं सब, और जितने भी बाकी जो भक्त इकट्ठा हुए मेरे से ज्यादा ही जानते होंगे शायद, और मेरे से ज्यादा उनको साक्षात्कार भी हुआ होगा। तो लेकिन हाँ शायद नहीं, अच्छा
That's my
हुआ है।
conviction, not a doubt.
हाँ हाँ, तो इसमें कोई शंका नहीं है, आप तो हम मेरे से बढ़ के ही हैं ज्ञान के बारे में और साक्षात्कार के बारे में, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है। तो यहाँ पे भी जो ब्रह्मा जी का भी ऐसा ही कि ब्रह्मा जी को जब नारद जी उनको पूछते तो ब्रह्मा जी भी यही उनको उत्तर देते हैं कि आपने मेरे को प्रेरणा दी कि भगवान के बारे में कुछ बोलने की, क्योंकि जैसे उन्होंने प्रश्न पूछा कि आपसे भी बढ़ के कोई है क्या, तो वैसे ही मुझे भी आज ऐसा कुछ प्रेरणा मिली है जैसे राधा व प्रभु से, और उसके कारण हम लोग एक दूसरे से प्रेरणा लेके हम इसके बारे में, कृष्ण के बारे में चर्चा करते हैं। तो आज मैं भी आज के बीच में उपस्थित होकर और कुछ आप लोगों से प्रेरणा लेके, राधा व प्रभु से प्रेरणा लेके कुछ हम कृष्ण के बारे में चर्चा करेंगे। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
तो उसी प्रकार से मैं थोड़ा सा हेमांग प्रभु आपसे प्रेरित होकर हिंदी में बोलने की चेष्टा कर रहा हूँ। तो उसी प्रकार से 11वें श्लोक में ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं, अब मैं थोड़ी इंग्लिश बोलूंगा, ठीक है? तो वहां कहते हैं कि आई ओनली रिक्रिएट व्हाट इज क्रिएटेड, सो व्हेन वी स्पीक आल्सो वी शुड ओनली स्पीक two things. We should only speak means we should repeat what the spiritual master has taught us. So our preeminent Siksha Guru Srila Prabhupada, we should repeat the words of Srila Prabhupada. And secondly, we should speak from realizations. So in the same spirit, Brahmaji is saying, I recreate what is already created. So don't reinvent the wheel.
ओके तो यहाँ पे जो बहुत अच्छा चीज प्रभु ने बताया कि जैसे कि हम हमारे जो परंपरा में है कि जैसे जो हमें अपने आध्यात्मिक रूप से सीखे हैं वही हमें उसको उसी तरह उसको प्रस्तुत करना चाहिए सबके सामने, और फिर हमारा कुछ अगर साक्षात्कार हुआ है, हमारा कुछ हमने कुछ अनुभव किया अपने जीवन में कुछ चीजों का आध्यात्मिक रूप से, उसको प्रस्तुत करना चाहिए हमें, लेकिन अपने मन से कुछ नहीं करना चाहिए। जैसे कि हमारे गुरु महाराज और हमारे प्राथमिक शिक्षा गुरु हैं रूपात ने जो जैसे हमें उन्होंने सिखाया, हमें बताया, जो लिखा है हमें, वो हमें ऐसा कैसा प्रस्तुत करना चाहिए। तो यहाँ पे भी जो ब्रह्मा जी हैं, और ब्रह्मा जी भी यही बता रहे हैं चैतन्य मुनि को कि एक्चुअली जो भी रचना तो ऑलरेडी हो चुकी थी, इससे मैंने उसको वापस उसको मैंने प्रस्तुत किया है। वो सृष्टि की जो ऑलरेडी थी सृष्टि, मैंने उसको सबके समक्ष में लेके आया हूँ मैं उसको। तो इससे मुझे यही प्रेरणा मिलती है कि हमें जो भी जैसे नारद जी को वो प्रेरणा दे रहे हैं या नारद से प्रेरणा ले रहे हैं कि हम जो चीज जैसा है वैसे उसको प्रस्तुत करना चाहिए। तो मुझे भी यही लगता है कि हमें जो ब्रह्मा जी से और ये शिक्षा देना चाहिए कि हमें जो गुरु महाराज ने हमें जो सिखाया है वही हमें प्रस्तुत करना चाहिए। हरे कृष्णा।
So 13th, in the 13th shloka, the whole notion of mama aham comes in there, and then Brahmaji tells Naradji that those who are inflicted by this disease of mama aham, they talk nonsense. So we are also as devotees in a transition phase. We have not yet transitioned ourselves into the realm of pure devotion. We are transitioning. We are stuck in certain aspects of our life in mama aham, then we can also be prone to talk sometimes nonsense. So therefore, the best is always take the shelter of what Prabhupada, our preeminent Siksha Guru, is teaching us through his devotional ecstasies and purports of Prabhupada in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, sometimes even in our devotee life, in trying to prove that I know more, we can end up talking that may not be the most appropriate. So I took inspiration from the shloka that mama aham, that disease, leads us to talk nonsense. It takes us away from transcendental knowledge. So this journey of this chapter continues, and up to the 30th verse, it basically, then again, Brahmaji is telling Naradji that there are two tattvas, and we need to demarcate these tattvas. One is Jiva Tattva, and one is Jiva Tattva, and the other is Vishnu Tattva. So the Jiva Tattva is Brahmaji. So one thing he clarifies to Narad very clearly, and that is why Bhagavad Gita says, A Brahma Bhuvanal Lokaha Punaravartino Arjuna. That Brahmaji se lekar niche tak, everyone is subject to death, right? So therefore I am a Jiva Tattva. So I can never be the supreme creator, but the Vishnu Tattva is the supreme creator. So in the same manner, see, when we read Prabhupada's books, one thing I found that when you deep dive into the purports, in the purports, one is Prabhupada gives us information. Information is he illuminates the very meaning of the verse by his realizations. The second aspect of his purports is prescriptive, where there is informative, descriptive, and prescriptive. That means he is informing information, then he describes where he further, kind of elaborates and illuminates. And then what he does is he takes the essence of the verse, of the teaching, and then Prabhupada very mercifully gives us prescriptions. He says, do this, right? And when you do this, what will happen? The information will turn into transformation. So that is how we have to approach while reading, studying Prabhupada's books. Whether we read one verse, it doesn't matter, but we have to go deeper like this. So therefore then Brahmaji, coming back to the subject, he goes to Naradi, he says, now you demarcate. So that is the run-up. Once you demarcate, then you know the boundaries. So that means even me as a Jiva Tattva, I need to demarcate, because we also can get carried away by becoming the lords of what I survey. So, aham mameti is a disease that is very much deep down within us, because we want to become the lord of what we survey. So therefore, but if we keep reminding ourselves, I'm simply an Anuatma, a Jivatma, a very infinitesimal existence of mind, then what will happen is we will not get carried away and take the credit for something that we haven't done. Because the ability to do anything is invested in us by the Lord, which is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, Aham Paurusham Nrishu. Aapke Paurushya ka jo, aapka Paurushya jo hai, that ability I have only given.
तो यहाँ पे जैसे प्रभु ने बहुत अच्छे ढंग से बताया है कि जैसे हम लोग को क्यों ऐसा करना चाहिए, जैसा हमें जो हमारे आचार्य, हमारे गुरु ने और हमारे प्राथमिक शिक्षा गुरु प्रभुपाद ने बताया है, क्योंकि वो लोग तो इससे ऊपर उठ गए हैं मैं और मेरा से, और अपने आप को आत्मा समझते हैं, इसलिए वो अपना साक्षात्कार, जैसे प्रभुपाद ने अपना साक्षात्कार बताया। लेकिन हम लोग क्योंकि जीवात्मा, जैसे ब्रह्मा जी ने भी खुद भी बोला उनको, नारद को, मैं तो एक जीवात्मा हूँ, मैं तो विष्णु तत्व नहीं हूँ। तो जो भी रचना उन्होंने जो किया है, जो रची हुई है चीज को, मैं उसको सिर्फ उसका मैं साक्षात सबको दिखा रहा हूँ, उसको मैं प्रस्तुत कर रहा हूँ, उसको मैं लेके आ रहा हूँ सबके सामने। तो ठीक वैसे ही, क्योंकि हम क्यों ऐसा हमें करना चाहिए, इसका यही कारण है कि क्योंकि हमें मैं और मेरा का जो है ये पूरा भरा पड़ा है कई करोड़ों जन्मों से हमारे हृदय में। हम लोगों को अभी तो जस्ट उस अवस्था में है कि हम भक्ति के, भगवान की भक्ति पाने के रास्ते पे हम मार्ग पे चल रहे हैं, हम कि उस भगवान के चरणों की प्रेम भक्ति पाने के, लेकिन अभी तक हमें प्रेम भक्ति मिली नहीं है, हम जस्ट उसके मार्ग पे चल रहे हैं। लेकिन जब तक हमें प्रेम भक्ति प्राप्त नहीं होती है, तब तक हमें कोई साक्षात्कार का सही ढंग से नहीं हो पाएगा। इतना तो इससे हो सकता है हम कुछ गलती करें या कुछ भी बकवास करते रहें, क्योंकि हमसे हमारे उसमें से जो भी निकलेगा तो वो, क्योंकि अभी हम खुद एक अंधकार में है, हो सकता है कि हम कभी हमसे कुछ निकल जाए, वो कुछ उसमें कुछ कोई तत्व है नहीं, उसमें कुछ हो सकता है कि कुछ गलती हो उसमें। लेकिन अगर हम श्रील प्रभुपाद और इनका, क्योंकि उन्होंने ऑलरेडी उनका साक्षात्कार कर चुके हैं और इनको भगवान के प्रति प्रेम भक्ति है ऑलरेडी, तो इसको जब ब्रह्मा जी यहाँ पे खुद बता रहे हैं नारद जी को कि जो भी कुछ है वो विष्णु तत्वों से आ रहा है, तो यहाँ ब्रह्मा जी भी खुद भी बोल रहे हैं कि जैसे भगवद गीता में भी बोला गया है भगवान कृष्ण ने कि जो ब्रह्मा जी से लेकर नीचे तक जितने भी जीव है सभी का मृत्यु निश्चित है और ये सभी अस्थायी है, सबका अस्तित्व। तो इसलिए हमें लिए बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण चीज है कि हमें कभी भी जो भी है कभी ऐसा नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि हाँ अभी मैं जहाँ पे जो भी चीज है जो कर रहा हूँ वो मैं कर रहा हूँ और मेरे कारण हो रहा है और उस सबका मैं ही एक्चुअली वो हूँ। हम हमेशा ये याद रखना कि मैं एक छोटा सा सूक्ष्म एक तंतु है, एक अणु हूँ मैं, मेरा कोई अस्तित्व है ही नहीं दिखाया। और जो भी कुछ मैं कर पा रहा हूँ उनके जो द्वारा योग्यता दी गई है, जैसे भगवद गीता में भी कृष्ण ने बताया कि उनके द्वारा मैं जो योग्यता देता हूँ किसी पुरुष में उसको कोई चीज करने की, तो हम जस्ट उनकी योग्यता भी हम उधार की ली हुई है। इसलिए कभी भी हम ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि हाँ मैं जो भी कुछ किया है मैंने किया है और मैं इसका भोगता हूँ। हरे कृष्णा।
हिमांगो प्रभु से एक बहुत बड़ी प्रेरणा मिल रही है। जो अनुवाद कर सकते हैं उनमें एक बहुत अच्छा क्वालिटी होता है सुनने का। तो तत्श्रृणु, तो ये सुनते बहुत अच्छी तरह से हिमांगो प्रभु। थैंक यू।
You're all merciful. It's not like this, but somehow maybe it is your.
While you're translating, the proof of the pudding is in the eating.
Yeah, it's perfect.
So, अब देखिए 9 बज गए हैं, तो अहम ममेति conception takes over and महाप्रसादे prayers come in front of us. तो भागवतम तो पिबत भागवतम रसमालयम, भागवत को पीना है, मगर हमें अभी भी भगवान की द्रव्य शक्ति से बहुत लेना देना है, क्योंकि हम अहम ममेति में हैं। द्रव्य शक्ति मीन्स द इंग्रेडिएंट्स, मटेरियल इंग्रेडिएंट्स, बिकॉज वी आइडेंटिफाई। सो इसलिए समय को अपने सामने रखते हुए I will quickly go into one line of the purport from the 30th verse, on which I picked up one conversation of Prabhupada where he gives the cure to the material disease. I don't know whether we'll have the time, but let me just take the gist of the 30th, which talks about from the 20th verse onwards, it starts talking about all the creation and the creative potencies, and how every mode of material mode creates the Gyanendriyas, Karmendriyas, and how then every Gyanendriya and Karmendriya have a particular Devata, the power to see. The Devata is Surya. So like that. But uske tatparya mein, in the purport, Prabhupada talks about this one line which stood out for me at least, so I'm sharing with you. Prabhupada says the standard of human civilization should be to cure the disease of sense gratification, and one can do this simply by becoming an agent for satisfying the spiritual senses of the Lord. Now, why is he saying that? Because the whole creation mein, there are panchendriya hain, karmendriya hain, and hamara jo, our entire engagement and contact with the world around us is through our senses. And the senses, they engage with the sense objects for the purpose of gratifying, right? So senses, sense objects, then engagement. So now there are two paradigms in front of us. क्योंकि भगवान की शक्तियों की तीन प्रिंसिपल शक्तियां हैं। इंटरनल शक्ति जो अंतरंगा, बहिरंगा एक्सटर्नल, एंड तटस्था मार्जिनल। तो हम तट पे हैं, वी आर ऑन द बीच हेड। तो इसमें प्रभुपाद जी ने बताया कि वी हैव अ चॉइस, आइदर आई कैन यूटिलाइज दीज सेंसेस, बिकॉज व्हेन ब्रह्मा जी क्रिएटेड, first the gross material elements were created, and then the indriyas, the senses, the entire construct of this body took place. Why was this body created? There's a purpose. Now the purpose are two. What are those purposes? Purpose number one is to satisfy my senses because I want to enjoy. And the other purpose is, if I utilize these senses in the service of the master of the senses, that is also a possibility. And in dono possibilities to decide which one to do, that makes us tatastha. Because now I'm at the beachhead. Should I go and jump into the ocean and swim, or I stay on ground? So that is tatastha. So therefore, one decision that we may take to connect with the internal potency of the Lord is purificatory. And if I were to decide not to take that decision and stay engaged with the external potency of the Lord, then that is diseased condition of life. So one is purificatory and the other is sense gratificatory, which is a diseased. So now we are also always stuck, right? So here Prabhupada is saying, what should be there for the standard of human civilization? He didn't say standard of animal civilization, because animals don't have this concept of deciding. वो तट पे नहीं होते हैं. A pig has to be with stool. जहां stool होगा वहां पे pig होगा. He has to go. That is his natural instinct. Whereas we have a decision. Where is a stool? I can either step over it or I can avoid it. Right? So therefore, Prabhupada is addressing that the standard of human civilization should be to cure the disease of sense gratification. And therefore one must approach Bhava Aushadhi. Bhagwan का और नाम क्या है? भव की औषधि. वो औषधि जो इस भव सागर से हमें निकालेगी. और भव सागर में हमें क्या रखता है? हमारी कर्मेंद्रियां, पंचेंद्रियां और उनकी एंगेजमेंट्स. तभी कहा गया है ऋषिकेन ऋषिकेश सेवनम भक्तिरुच्यते, that it's better to engage the senses in the service. So in the service of the Lord senses. There is a very nice conversation on this. There are many which I picked up, which further elaborates this. I can send the reference. You can read it due to the paucity of time. But this is what stands out for us as a prescription from Prabhupada, that we must seek out to cure our disease of sense gratification. Then we can actually become human. When we become human, then we can talk about self-realization. When we talk about self-realization, then we can progress and advance into the process of bhakti. When we come into bhakti, then we still have to clear our hearts of anartha nivrittis. When that happens, then we can come to the stage of nishtha. Till we come to the stage of nishtha, we cannot have the ruchi. And if we don't have the ruchi, there won't be any prem. And if there is no prem, then there is no bhav. And Krishna says, Buddha bhava samanvitaha. तो बात ये है कि इससे हमें ये समझ आता है कि the journey is long, the journey is arduous, but it is the journey itself towards Krishna is very gratifying, which should encourage and keep us determined on this path, that one day we will eventually be able to gratify the senses of the Lord. And by doing so, we will be pleased. Krishna will be pleased first, and then we would be pleased. And that's where I would end today's session. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण. तो प्रभु जी ने यहाँ पे जैसे बताया कि श्रील प्रभुपाद ने जो लिखा है इसमें कि हमारा जो ये जो रोग है, जो मैं और मेरा, तो ये एक्चुअली कहाँ से आरंभ होता है? जब हम इंद्रियों का जो अपने जो तृप्ति करना चाहते हैं, जो इंद्रियां हैं इंद्रियों के विषय हैं, और इंद्रियों को हम फिर संतुष्ट करने का प्रयास करते हैं. तो जैसे अलग अलग उनके भी देवता हैं. जैसे ब्रह्मा जी सृष्टि की जो स्थूल जो तत्व की पहले रचना की, फिर सूक्ष्म तत्व की रचना की है. तो उसमें जो सूक्ष्म तत्व है उसमें जो इंद्रियों में आता है, तो वो इंद्रियों में जो उन्होंने फिर बताया है कि कैसे हम जो जीव है जब इंद्रिय तृप्ति ज्यादा करना चाहते हो, कैसे और भी ज्यादा उसमें वो तटस्थ शक्ति होने के कारण वो जो उसका जो चुनाव है, जो अंतरंगा शक्ति का चुनाव नहीं करके वो बहिरंग शक्ति का चुनाव कर बैठता है, और उसके कारण और भी ज्यादा वो भाव सागर में नीचे गहराई में डूबता जाता है. और बाद में जब अगर वो चुनाव करता है कि नहीं मुझे तो अंतरंगा शक्ति का चुनाव करता है, तो उस टाइम में वो फिर भगवान की जो इंद्रियों को उसको तुष्ट करने का प्रयास करता है. और जब भगवान की इंद्रियों को तुष्ट करने का प्रयास करते करते जब बाद में जब उसका जो जितने भी जो अनर्थ है, अनर्थ निवृत्ति होने लगती है, उसके बाद फिर निष्ठा होती है, निष्ठा के बाद रुचि होती है, रुचि के बाद फिर जो प्रेम है, जब भाव है, भाव के बाद प्रेम की उत्पत्ति होती है। तो वैसे तो बहुत लंबा, एक्चुअली ये बहुत ही देखा जाए तो बहुत ही लंबी विधि है ये, इतना कोई आसान विधि नहीं है, काफी श्रम करना पड़ता है, काफी परिश्रम करना पड़ता है। तो इसलिए हम तो, लेकिन क्योंकि ऑलरेडी हम इस रास्ते पे चल निकले हैं, तो हम लोग क्योंकि ऑलरेडी हम भगवान की इंद्रियों को संतुष्ट करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं, और हमने क्योंकि अंतरंग शक्ति को चुना है, तो जरूर हमें सफलता मिलेगी। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna. So with that, I thank His Grace Radhabha Prabhu for giving me an opportunity and inspiring me and nudging me to think about Krishna. I'm very
Rasakrida
grateful to
PrabhuJi,
him.
we need some nectar of Guru Maharaj from you. You know, it has been really short class.
Well,
Some memories. There are so many I remember. That, you know,
The
he had
live
such-
pastime, Prabhu, live pastime, you can tell of Shamdesh when Guru Maharaj came.
so
unless you have some class or something, I don't know. I mean, I hope not.
No.
Next class.
So Guru Maharaj, well, I have some very fond memories of doing wrestling with him. Hand wrestling. Well, the first time I got the service in the early days, which was when he came first time, for me first time, but he had come before, when the group was Govinda Prabhu, Gopal Gauranga Prabhu, Sridham, Krishna.
Venkatesh.
Venkatesh came later, Sukar Prabhu.
Okay.
Venkatesh and all, they came later. Pandav Sakha, Venkatesh, Chaitanya Avatari, they all came later. The first batch was Govinda Prabhu, Gopal Gauranga Prabhu, Sridham Krishna Prabhu. Apurva was there with them. So then, who's that?
Punabhadra.
Oh, Punabhadra Prabhu. That, such a wonderful devotee, such a wonderful soul. Such a
George Prabhu, no? George Prabhu.
George Prabhu.
Judge, yes.
He was very dear to Guru Maharaj, extremely dear. Guru Maharaj used to love him.
Just before he left his body, before only I met him in the park with my wife, you know. In
Oh,
Dubai.
is it?
He hugged his
Yeah.
head, you know,
Very
and then
tragic. Very
next
tragic.
day, I don't know, so tragic it was.
Very tragic. And
The cakes, he makes cakes, wonderful cakes.
he made wonderful. He was a wonderful cook, and he was a wonderful, baker. Cook cakes were fantastic. So I got this. So I'll tell you my first tryst with Guru Maharaj, the memory that I hope never goes away and that, stays with me forever. So I used to ask a lot of questions from Venugopal Prabhu particularly. And it wasn't argumentative, but they were questions, and they were very kind and graceful to tolerate those questions, and they would, with a lot of patience, try to answer them, by referring to Bhagavad Gita. And so then what happened, because I used to ask those questions, he says, our Guru Maharaj is coming, you ask him. So I remember I went in the room, I was called whenever my turn was, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and then I was nudged from behind, Danvat karo, so I was kind of very besotted by the presence of His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. And then I paid obeisances. And then Venugopal Prabhu said, Guru Maharaj, this boy has many questions. So I told him to ask you directly. So then Venugopal Prabhu, in his style, he has this very direct, said, ask questions. So I looked at Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj looked at me and said, so what's your question? I said, I have no questions. So that was my first and I just couldn't speak. And there was an instantaneous shelter then was given on his computer. He wrote down the name and whatever details that he used to take. And then, so that was my first stress. Then I became, so now what I want to share with you is, so you see what happens is you feel empowered. Then suddenly I felt empowered. Then I got my next service to be the guard outside the room. And just by this one, engagement, now you get carried away because, I had no realizations and nothing. So I got so carried away that I became the guard, and I thought, oh my God, I've now become Jai and Vijay. I'm one of the Jai, protecting the Vaikuntha Lok inside. So, and sometimes what happens is, my realization today when I look back is, sometimes we get empowerment, like Brahmaji got empowerment. But Brahmaji prays ardently in the 9th chapter of the same canto, where he says, I shouldn't get, oh Krishna, I shouldn't get carried away by this empowerment, so that then what happens is we'll commit offenses. So, sometimes some devotee wants to come in. Hey, you can't come in. I am the doorkeeper. So like that, over the years, then I realized that we should be extremely careful when we get empowerment in Krishna consciousness. We should simply take that is simply the Lord has given me, and my Guru has given me that only for the purposes of glorifying Guru and Gauranga, nothing else. I am no one. We should never seek out anything for ourselves in any endeavor of ours. Material consciousness teaches us to seek out recognition, whereas spiritual consciousness is teaching us not to seek out, but only to give. So we give credit to the Lord, to Guru and the devotees, and all we seek is their mercy and grace. So that was my first tryst. Now, my realization wasn't this at that time, by the way. My realization at that time was, I've arrived, yeah, I've got it. But over the years, I've been slapped by Maya many times because I have failed more than I have succeeded. So my failures are teaching me all the time. So that's how I remember my Guru Maharaj today. We have to also mature our realizations, because it's Krishna consciousness is a fruit. The more mature it becomes, the more sweeter it is. So while my realization was different, but today it's different. Today it's more humbling. At that time, it made me arrogant.
Hare Krishna.
गोविंदा
अभी जैसे
हिमांगु प्रभु बोल रहे हैं, पे गोविंदा प्रभु बोलेंगे.
बोलिए गोविंदा प्रभु बोलिए.
Thank you, Rasa Prabhu. So wonderful to hear you. Energetic. I didn't speak in the early times. This simple thing to connect to what you were saying about your in your class and your realization. The connectivity up over here is on this point, like Prabhupada said that the whole community should be directed not towards sense gratification, but towards self-realization. Now here, the senses are so active and live when it's young. So it has its own energy level. It seeks so much of gratification. But when we become old, definitely all of us are, and we will, and everyone will become old. There's going to be a dry out. There's going to dry out, surely. The water is going to dry out from the sponge. When it dries out, then your lookout in the life is different than what it was looking in the past. So when you connect your service as a doorkeeper for Guru Maharaj, and now it's different. So when we connect that to the senses, sense gratification and self-realization, then what happens when you become old? The senses don't have, it doesn't have any gratification objects. The gratification objects are already dead. So now, at that time, to get Krishna, to get the taste for Krishna is probably very far. So how do we connect and get to the platform where we are able to not miss out the precious gift of Krishna consciousness in our life? This is my question to you.
Oh, but very nice, Prabhu. I think you really picked up a very important aspect of the energy levels, and then connecting it with the gratification of the senses, and then how we also try to gratify our senses within a spiritual scenario. Because you see, for all of us, when we have taken up to spiritual life, we honestly don't have anything outside of spiritual life. Our life centers around, our friends, our families, and our enemies also are within Krishna consciousness also. We experience everything, but with Krishna conscious, the flavor is Krishna consciousness. So uske andar everything we get experience. So having said that, as we advance in our lives, so what happens is two things are happening. In our own journey of Krishna consciousness, there are various experiences. Krishna consciousness intrinsically is auspicious and all good. But why do we have bad experiences? If we do have any, is because we were still in the sense gratificatory state, and probably still are. Otherwise, Krishna consciousness can never be bad, and there cannot be there's no question of good or bad. It's all good and it's all auspicious. But as we age, there are two things that are happening. We have had now enough of experience with the material world, and then we have had enough of experience with the spiritual world, or the spiritual realm. And then what we do is, if we continue to somehow chant, even if, it is, I'm talking about myself, inattentive chanting, and we continue to read, and we continue to somehow associate with Prabhupada, his teachings, and his followers, then what happens is we start to reflect more deeply. That's what we're supposed to do, and contemplate on various events in our life. And then we say, in this journey, I'm growing old, the sponge is drying up, and I'm not yet there. What the hell I've been doing? Like, I missed out on 30 years of sense enjoyment that I wanted to have. I did have my enjoyment in the spiritual, setting, and even otherwise I did a little bit here, there, but, largely we missed out. We missed out on going to discotheques. We missed out on going to bars and everything. Sometimes these thoughts can, as a flash, they cross, because many times devotees see, oh my God, I'm a devotee, yet I'm suffering all the time. Whereas there are other people who seem to be always enjoying and never suffer. So don't forget that Naraji had its own questions, convictions, and doubts. So we are no different. Now, how do we stay on course and stay wet in this journey, as I've understood from Govinda Prabhu, when it's drying up? So when we have matured realizations, when we reflect deeply, so the first prescription that I told myself was, you reflect, meditate, and contemplate more. So even if you read less, for whatever reasons, contemplate more. If you are chanting, and within your 16 rounds, try to chant 4 rounds attentively. So that means at least try to contemplate on some rounds very deeply. When we start doing that, then we are trying to wet the sponge with a different juice. Then suddenly in that less, we start getting more. So we get more from the purports of Prabhupada, more from the few rounds that we chanted well, more from this association. When I'm associating with you, I'm only thinking, for this less time, how do I get more? And, so then you start thinking that way. So the quality of juice is different. That we have to, it's not the quantum, it's the quality. So that's one aspect. The second is we start seeking out the right associations. Very critical. So again, it is not about more. When we were young in Krishna consciousness, everything was about more. ज्यादा से ज्यादा भक्त लेके आओ, ज्यादा से ज्यादा ये करो, अरे सेल्फ प्रोग्राम है 10 है, 10 का 20, 10 का 20, 20 का 40, 20 का 40, 40 का 80. We were in that numerical game, right? And if I did 20 to 80, then my yatra leader will give me a garland, and Guru Maharaj will give me a garland, and oh my God, I've arrived. Look at me. Yay, I'm the one. So it was all about more and more and more. More of me, more of me, more of me. अब इस उम्र में आके more of me क्या है? कुछ रहा ही नहीं अब. ये ढांचा जो है, it has become very now. And the other thing is, when we are young, our realization of our own mortality is very, very little. We are genuinely thinking that we are never going to die, which Brahmaji could have got carried away with, because Brahmaji's lifetime and lifespan is equivalent to being eternal. So even Naradji felt, oh my God, my father is never going to die. But Krishna says, no, he's also going to die. He's a Jiva Tattva. So we also have to continuously remind that. So when we come to advanced stages, then we have to seek less. But what we seek very quality. So what we become discerning, or we should become discerning, we become very picky and choosy. Because what association should I seek out? What I read, how much I read, how should I read? So in my journey, I started to do that. Few of my mentors, spiritual mentors who came in my life during the crises that I went through, they gave me some very good instructions. And by praying to Guru and Gauranga, I started to desire for many, many Siksha Gurus. Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan. Guru as a tattva is plural, not singular. Diksha ek se hoti hai, Siksha anek se hoti hai. तो फिर आप शिक्षा लेनी शुरू करते हैं. So then again you become discerning there. So you seek out from the ones who will fill your gaps. Now to fill the gaps means I have to reveal my gaps, no? So when we contemplate more, reflect more, then we start to reveal ourselves. And when we reveal, so when we were young, we were revealing less about our inner self. We were revealing more about our outer self. How I look from outside was our. अब पता लगा 30 साल के बाद अंदर कुछ बना ही नहीं है. So I have to reveal that heart to somebody. That, I have gone through this journey. Externally, I may get some respect because I've spent 30 years, but inside of me, I know there's a lot hollowness there. That drying of the sponge I picked up from Govinda Prabhu is the hollowness from within. So I have to go and then reveal my heart to someone. So whom should I reveal my heart to? You have to pick and choose. Because heart surgery करानी पड़ती है, किसी ऐसे वैसे डॉक्टर के पास थोड़ा जाओगे आप. Open heart surgery. फिर वहां पे वो पूरा खोल के और वहां पता लगा, अरे माय गॉड, ये हार्ट में तो अनर्थ ही अनर्थ भरे हैं. सो उसकी निवृत्ति के लिए, सो नाउ at this stage, when the sponge is drying up, we have to become very discerning. We have to become like the connoisseurs. You don't eat everything, because by now my stomach will not accept certain foods. So you pick and choose. So we have to become discerning like that. And that is how then we will fill the new juice in the sponge with the hope that that juice will ultimately give us the nectarian juice of Krishna Prem. Hopefully. I don't know whether I got you correctly or not, but I'm only sharing my own hollowness to you.
Prabhu, I have one question I will ask Prabhu. One question.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. I really love asking questions to you. Whenever you take class, I'll first ask my questions. Prabhu. अभी हिंदी में पूछूं या अंग्रेजी में पूछूं? अंग्रेजी में पूछूं.
आप तमिल में पूछिए.
Prabhu, these Panchendriyas, what you're telling is the 5 gross elements that when we die, everything goes on their own place. But the mind, intelligence and false ego goes with the Jivatma. Till we come to 100% pure mind, 100% pure intelligence and real ego, Jiva Swarupa, that kind of come, then only we'll go back to Godhead. Abhi, once we start practicing this, then I went to Srila Prabhupada's teaching that there are 3 important things in life is Nama Ruchi, Jivadaya and Vaishnav Seva. So Srila Prabhupada has taught us that Nama Ruchi is only 33% for ourselves. Balance 66 to 30% is for bringing devotees and doing sevas for seniors, Guru Maharaj and all. So we are trying to do that. और करते हुए भी वो नाम अपने नाम रुचि टेस्ट नहीं आ रहा है. अभी भी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कोशिश कर रहा है, अच्छा चैन कर रहा है, फिर रोने को बोला हरे कृष्ण रोक के भी ट्राई किया, रुचि नहीं. Something going wrong somewhere.
So, like who would be better than Govinda Prabhu, who has had some very close relationship with Mahatma Prabhu, who's one of the pioneers in our movement, who has focused on japa a lot. And I know for sure that Govinda Prabhu is quite invested.
No, unka seminar bhi main attend kiya.
Yeah, no. So I'm saying taking a leaf of inspiration from what I've heard and I picked up this, which I was sharing, Sukar Prabhu, is that, so yes, coming to the point of Nam Ruchi, there is a lot of work that needs to be done to prepare the heart for it to become attached to the holy names, the taste, that Ruchi. But what we can do, instead of getting disappointed, one is that even if it's inattentive, we have to continue to chant. That is one aspect. So that's better than not chanting. The other is, as I was sharing, Sukar Prabhu, that we can experiment by saying out of the 16, at least if I can chant a few rounds very attentively. And what Srila Prabhupada and his followers that we all seek inspiration from is they've said that when you chant, the biggest quality, like I was telling Himango Prabhu, he was able to translate because he listens well. So I'm sure when he must be chanting, he must be listening very well, the holy names of the Lord. And I've found from my own very humble experiences is that few rounds of the day where I really, I'll give you one secret. One devotee does this. And he said that your 16 rounds, which Prabhupada used to do also, by the way. Now, I don't know whether that agrees with what Mahatma Prabhu says. Govinda Prabhu will be able to throw better light on that. But this, I came through in one of the podcasts that I heard of one devotee who says that I take 10 minutes. And when I chant, I tell my family and everyone, this 10 minutes, nobody will bother me. This is me and Krishna and nothing else. So that 10 minutes, for an expert chanter, you can do 2 rounds, close to 2 rounds, 10 to 12 minutes. And otherwise, you may end up doing 1 if you're too slow. But depending upon what your, speed and quality of chanting is. So he started breaking down his 16 rounds into 10-minute chant sessions, japa sessions, sorry. He suddenly started to improve the quality, and I tried doing that also. And I said, this seems good. Sometimes what happens is when we start chanting, shuru mein neend aayegi, phir kuch aur hota hai, phir kuch aur hota hai. It's better that you tell yourself bit by bit, bite by bite. So let me bite into the holy names just for 10 minutes. And that 10 minutes, that is my world. In that world, I will not allow anybody. Nobody exists in that world. It's me and the holy names. And then you just chant for those 10 minutes. And then you can take a pause. and then have another 10 minutes little later, have another. Likewise, in a day, you spread it out like that. And then you end up finishing your 16 rounds. So let's say if you do 2 rounds in 10 to 12 minutes, it's 8 sessions during the course of the day. But whether it is in evening, morning, afternoon, before food, after food, those 10 minutes are yours and no one else. That's just practically I'm sharing.
But that means you mean to say that ek mala 10 minute mein karna hai. You do Hare
No,
Krishna, Hare
ek
Krishna.
mala
Krishna.
nahi. This devotee would do 2 malas in 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. He said about 12 minutes. He used to time it. But he would hear and he would just totally disconnect from the world around everything. Nothing to do with anyone. It's me and the holy names. Govinda Prabhu, does it make sense?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yeah, Prabhu, I really agree with this. It's very important that holy name is most important activity of our day. I can keep talking on this. I won't talk too much. However, one of the affirmations by Mahatma Prabhu says, for most of us who know the affirmation, I turn off my world and turn on Krishna's world when I chant my rounds.
Correct.
So this is affirmation. So there are 20 affirmations. Mahatma Prabhu has released it as a small book also. It's got released. One of these affirmations, you constantly meditate throughout the day. I turn off my world and turn on Krishna's world when I chant my rounds. When you keep meditating this, then probably when you chant, it works on you. Your subconsciously this works on you. And another one affirmation is most simple affirmation. When I chant, I chant. That's it. So when we meditate on these two affirmations, it starts helping us to improve our chanting. Sorry, I interrupted and it's your class.
No. Very beautiful. Thank you for reaffirming,
Thank you, Govinda Prabhu. Thank you, Govinda Prabhu.
Yes. Thank you, Sukkar Prabhu. So I think, Prabhu, Radhabha Prabhu, it's 37 minutes past 9. So I quickly, first and foremost, want to thank from the bottom of my heart His Grace Radhabha Prabhu for giving me an opportunity to associate with all of you. And if at all I've been able to offer something to all of you, I prostrate in front of my Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada only by their mercy and my Siksha Gurus, then I'm able to share something. But more than my sharing, I think a lot has been added by all of you. 1, by your presence. 2, by your listening. And 3rd, by the wonderful realizations shared by Govinda Prabhu, Sukha Prabhu. So I'm very grateful for that. Now, I have only 2 requests to Radhabha Prabhu. One is that I will closely communicate with Radhabha Prabhu. If it is possible, I would like my very, very, very dearmost friend and my Siksha Guru, His Holiness Atmanivedan Swami Maharaj, to address all of you. I'll also join in if that is okay with Radhabha Prabhu.
Very good.
Sure.
Thank you. So that is one. And secondly, I very humbly request all of you to kindly visit. We have a very small initiative, School of Vedic Studies. So we have a YouTube channel, School of Vedic Studies. Just go and subscribe. We need to hit the 1,000 mark. So all of yours subscription there would help us. So just press the subscribe and a bell icon, then we can do some of our programs going live when you have 1,000 subscribers. That's my humble request, School of Vedic Studies. So, and I also thank all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, the wonderful devotees of Shamadesh, for giving me an opportunity to associate with all of you. Thank you, Sukkar Prabhu, and wonderful seeing you.
Prabhu,
Arjun,
can I have your number, Prabhu? I want to be in touch with you.
Okay, Prabhu.
I'll give it to you. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Sukkar Radhabha Prabhu has it. Arjun Jivan Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Good to see you, Prabhu. Convey my pranams to Mataji. And where is Gaurangi Mataji? I didn't see her. Oh, Gaurangi Mataji, Hare Krishna. Dandat pranams to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. How are you, Mataji? Mataji, you're muted.
Muted. Mic is muted.
You asked for Gaurangi Mother, you don't want to get Apurva next to you?
No, no, she's right here. She was actually on the call and she's right here. So, here. So what I'll do is, I'll remove. No, no, no. The background doesn't come. See.
And get the real screen.
Hare
Hari
Hari bol, Hare Krishna,
Hari
Hari
Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol. Hari bol, Hari bol, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna.
We are waiting for the Kashmiri pickle.
Yes, Prabhu.
We are waiting for
Hare
the
Krishna.
Kashmiri pickle.
I'm waiting for Monja. I don't have Monja in Oman. When I get Monja supply, the raw material, then I will definitely keep for and make and keep for you, Prabhu.
No, Radhaba Prabhu is talking. He remembers your prasadam. He also cooks very nice.
Monja
No?
achar
Ah,
ke
Monja. Monja achar. Okay.
Ah.
Right.
Mataji's class, we remember. Nirdeham, that sloka, she speaks so nicely about the boat and the spiritual master, the captain. That is a sloka always in the mind.
Oh, that is Mataji.
So
they have
kalpam.
converted you.
Yeah. My wife keeps on telling that sloka every time.
Yeah.
Apurva Mataji, thank you for darshan. Hari Hari Bol. Dhanavad to you.
Hari
Nice
Hari
to
bol.
see you.
Pranam, pranam, Gaurangi Mataji, Govinda Prabhu.
Hari Hari Bol. So nice to see you always.
Always, always.
Well,
Yes.
while I just want to tell everyone, this was the gang before I came in, which is Govinda, Apurva, Gopal Gauranga,
Sridhama.
Gopal Gauranga is enjoying somewhere else.
Yeah.
भाई गोविंदा प्रभु और कुछ हो ना हो एंथुजियाज्म हमेशा आना चाहिए है ना
Mataji, बच्चे लोग कैसे माताजी आपके बच्चे लोग भी I have not seen them for so many years. After 2000 we are not.
यस बच्चे बड़े हो गए हैं सब ठीक है वैष्णव और गुरु कृपा से सब ठीक है
प्राइवेट जूम मीट में आएगा प्रभु
Yes. I know you reminded something. I told that to Gaurangi Mataji also. Oh no. I need a place to hide.
Just to add that,
गोविंदा प्रभु अब समय आ गया वो स्पॉन्ज में जूस डालने के लिए कुछ एकांत भजन का and I want to I checked up. I have my dear friends from Kuwait who have joined in. Are they still there? Muralidhar Prabhu, are you there? Oh, we missed him. He came on board, so I wanted to introduce to all of you. Anyway, he's not there.
प्रभु बच्चों का फोटो I want to see all the photos of the children. Your daughter.
माता जी कैसे हैं आप
Arjun Jivan Prabhu
बहुत
and
अच्छा लग रहा है आपको देख के
हरे कृष्णा माता जी आपकी जय हो हरि बोल so nice to see you माता जी PrabhuJi
so nice
Prabhu and Mataji, Dandavat pranams to you also. बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है देख के आपको. Thanks to Radhaba Prabhu, इन्होंने तो पूरा वो यूनियन करा दिया. होता है ना वो
उनका बेटे का प्रभु उनका बेटे का शादी होके बच्चा भी हो गया दादाजी हो
That
गया.
I remember his marriage. I remember.
Yeah.
और रासाकिरा प्रभु का
Oh,
स्पेशल
Vrinda.
even the most
Vrinda.
Hari
Oh,
Hari.
छोटी बच्ची देखी.
Rasakira.
Oh, nice to see Vrinda and the other two sons.
So nice to see you, Vrinda.
nice to see you all
Vrinda Shaligram Vivas. I wish that you get a good Shaligram.
Jai. That's a blessing.
thank you Prabhu for your blessing thank you so much
What about you? वो आपका दो बेटे लोग किधर है बेटे लोग?
they are in different places Rishabh is here for now but
हरी बोल
but yeah
हरी बोल
all well
प्रभु
Please
आपसे बहुत
please
कुछ
bless them.
हरी
Please
बोल
bless them.
कृष्ण मति रस्तु for all the children.
Jai. Thank you.
Just to add on that, Rasakira PrabhuJi is always very specially looking after devotees. He takes great care, even goes to the minimum things required, goes out of the way. I still remember in 2015, he had come to my house when my father passed away, and he was also very busy with some meetings, but still he took time with Padri Prabhu, came all the way to my house in Vasai, in Mumbai, and stayed with us. gave encouragement to my mother, and she was very happy. She'll always remember this, and she'll say, "Oh, Prabhu, aaya tha na?" And she tells me,
Radha Prabhu, I also fondly remember, and we should do it again.
"Hari, hari."
I like your place. It was very nice.
You should come.
Yes,
Stay up.
for sure. We'll do that.
Prabhu, mother was very serious yesterday. She became okay today. 84-year-old.
Oh,
Meenakshi Radha.
please,
Aapko
please
remember?
convey our pranams to her and our prayers for her for her good health, and she recovers back quickly to good health.
Yes,
I
thanks for your
remember her as
prayers.
a very energetic,
Yeah.
very, obviously she would be that because that's how I see you. So everything is noted by the fruit. You're the fruit of the tree.
Very well, Prabhu.
Okay, PrabhuJi, as all of you are here, I would just add a humble request that Anusha, that is a very dear niece and daughter of His Grace Jagannath Shyamsundar Prabhuji, who recently
Oh,
passed away.
Jai.
And Pushpamukha Mataji, she's getting married on 21st, that is just 2 days later. And in my, so we would like to seek all of your blessing. All of you seniors are here, so please kindly bless
Very
this
well.
Vaishnavi. As the father is not here, he was such a wonderful Sevadari of Shamadesh, and he left his Mayapur. So kindly bless this couple who's getting married. So
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare Ram.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
thank you.
So thank you again. Please, all the devotees who are there, don't think that we don't know you. When we all, the universal consciousness of connecting with Krishna, as Prabhupada said, brings us into the United Nations of the spiritual world. There are no boundaries. Boundaries are all man-made, as Prabhupada said. We should all be connected with our hearts. So I only want to say you, it doesn't matter whether we knew each other or not. We're all going to get together. And when we are with Krishna, there are no yatras there. There's only the one yatra, which is the yatra of love of Krishna. So let us get on the love of Krishna's, yatra card. So in that sense, we all are connected and we all know each other.
Vasudeva Kudumbam. Vasudeva Kudumbam.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Good to
Hari.
see you also. Hari Bol.
Thank you,
And,
thank you, thank you,
all
thank
the
you.
best. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Today, Tulsi
अपूर्व
Vivah.
माता जी बहुत धन्यवाद, आपसे मिलके बहुत खुशी हो गया. वृंदा को भी देखा, बहुत अच्छा लगा. वृंदा का शादी. हरि बोल, हरि बोल.
And I have to tell from the bottom of my heart, many thanks to Radha Prabhu to make this happen. Hari
Jai.
Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Vancha
Kalpatarupesha, Kirma Sindhu Bevacha, Patitada Pavadebhyo Vaishnavabhyo, Namo Namaha, Namo Namo.
Namo Namaha.
Mahaprasade Govinde, Namo
नमो ब्राह्मणे वैष्णवे. क्या मिलने वाला है अभी प्रभु, क्या मिलने वाला है? कृष्ण प्रेम, प्रभु कृष्ण प्रेम दीजिए प्रभु.
कुछ खिलाओ अर्जुन जीवन प्रभु, कुछ छोले भटूरे खिलाओ यार.
हाँ प्रभु, आप कुछ रासा प्रभु, आप थोड़ा कृष्ण प्रेम दीजिए. केपी दीजिए, आपके पास है. छुपा और उत्तम हो आप.
मैं अभी जरा कारफोर जा रहा हूँ, वहां से खरीद के लाता हूँ.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
All right, Shankar Prabhu, you stay happy always. Hare
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Same to you, and I want to see all your children photos.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hari
Some
Bol.
more announcements. We would like to also pray for some of the disciples of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada who left their bodies last week. So kindly pray 3 times for them. Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
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 Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare.
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama
Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Today is the last day of
Gauranga,
Gauranga.
Gauranga,
Nityananda, Gauranga,
Nityananda.
Gauranga,
Nityananda,
today.
Gauranga.
Today
Nityananda.
is the last day of our Kartik gatherings, and I'm sure many of the devotees are celebrating Tulsi Vivaha also at different places. So whoever is nearby to your place, please kindly contact the group heads and accordingly attend the program, as we don't have a formal program going on right now, and some are still on Zoom. So kindly take precautions and stay safe still. Also, the breaking time for the Bishpa Panchaka would be, I think, for UAE after 5:45 today, when the sun rises, sun sets at around 5:30 and the moon rises just around 5:27. So you can safely break after 5:45. And in case you are following Bishpa Panchaka. And we are also looking forward to have His Holiness Bhanuswami Maharaj in December. So hopefully we get some place by the time or something, we can have a program. His prayers from all of y'all's side to get some place for Shamadesh again would be nice, because right now it's a little risky to meet again as per the rules of the government. So we have to still wait and watch. So please keep chanting your rounds and praying for all the devotees and helping each other. We also have a request from Govinda PrabhuJi for some of the group heads and the others to give the summary of their chanting and progress, so that we can shortlist some of the candidates for shelter and initiation. Some of them are still pending, especially I think from the Bengali speaking devotees and the others. So kindly do the needful and be in touch with Govinda PrabhuJi for that. So any more announcements? I can put that.
Rasa Prabhu, we need your blessings. Kirtana is getting married, Krishna Prabhu's daughter, on 29th in Dubai. So,
Wish them all the very best.
Sukha Saubhagya has gone to Dubai, to Krishna's house now. She's in Dubai.
Okay.
I could not go because my mother is 84, so I should not leave my mother. She's very weak, and I thought I would not go.
Sure, no, absolutely.
So just Pratna Kijiye Prabhu.
We'll chant for
prayers and best wishes.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you. So I don't have any more announcements.
Prabhu, I will just show my mummy. I'll just show my mummy. 1 minute. Amma.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Her ears also down.
No, sure. It's okay, Prabhu. Don't bother her.
Okay. So we will wind up the program here, and thanking Rasakrida PrabhuJi again and for the wonderful class and association, and bringing so many wonderful memories and feeling like a family again. Sometimes you need such sort of breaks from so many activities, and we look forward for your visits here. Govinda
Thank you for your
complaining that is running in loss. So we need to boost.
Sure. We'll do that.
Kripa Sindhu cha patitanam bhyo Vaishnavabhyo namo namah.
Jai Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Jai. Haribol.
Sadharanam PrabhuJi can share the recording later.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Shall I end, Prabhu?
Yeah, if you would like to just check if another devotee would like to say Hare Krishna, then they can still do that. Because I didn't give them opportunity. Swastik Prabhu, anybody is there, old timers, so just go through quickly if the video is on, and then you can end.
हरि बोल, हरे कृष्णा, हरे कृष्णा, हरि बोल,
जय हो।
हरि बोल, हरि
Krishna.
बोल, मुक्तिदाता अक्षरदाता, हरि बोल,
हरे कृष्णा हरे बोल
हरे कृष्णा, हरि
बोल.
बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल,
हरे
हरि
कृष्ण
बोल, हरि बोल,
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
कृष्णा,
Hare
हरि
Bol.
बोल, हरि बोल,
Hare
हरि
Krishna.
बोल, हरि बोल, हरे कृष्ण, सस्ते प्रभु, हरि बोल, हरि बोल,
Hare Krishna.
हरि बोल प्रभु, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरे कृष्ण प्रभु, हरि
भक्त
बोल,
वत्सल प्रभु
Hare
की
Krishna.
जय।
वत्सल प्रभु, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल,
Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु, हरे
हरे कृष्ण भक्तवत्सल प्रभु हरे
हरि
कृष्ण
हरि बोल, हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna,
प्रभु,
Prabhu.
हरे हरि बोल, हरे कृष्ण प्रभु,
हरे कृष्ण
हरि
Arjun
बोल,
Jeevan Prabhu,
भवानी
Hare
माता
Krishna.
जी,
माता जी
हरे कृष्ण, हरे कृष्ण, हरे कृष्ण,
हरे
भवानी माता जी, हरे कृष्ण,
A-
हरे कृष्ण,
Arjun Jeevan Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल,
Hemanga Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण, हरे कृष्ण प्रभु, हरे कृष्ण, हरि बोल, हरि बोल,
Hare
हरि
Bol.
बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरे
Hare
कृष्ण,
Bol.
हरे
हरि
कृष्ण
बोल
प्रभु,
जय
हरे
हो।
कृष्ण,
हरे
हरि
कृष्णा
बोल,
प्रभु
हरि बोल,
Radha
दंडवत
Prabhu, Hare
प्रणाम।
Krishna, Prabhu.
हरि बोल, हरे कृष्ण, हरे हरि बोल, हरे
My mother is very, very weak, very feeble. But no sugar and all, but she's weak, very weak. I have to check. Today the report will come. Potassium or something is less.
Okay.
Sodium or potassium, yeah. She should not suffer. She should not suffer, yeah. Only we are worried the shadi should get over. The shadi should get over. That's it.
नहीं आया प्रभु
ऑलमोस्ट
हरे
कवर
कृष्ण
किया प्रभु वीडियोस को
प्रभु की जय।
हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरे
Hari
कृष्ण,
bol, Hari bol, Hari bol.
हेमंत प्रभु
Hare
की
Krishna.
जय हो।
हरि बोल,
Hare
हरे
Krishna,
कृष्ण,
Hari
हरे
bol.
कृष्ण, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि
Hari
बोल,
bol, Hari bol, Hari bol, Hari bol.
राधा
हरे
प्रभु जी
कृष्ण।
सब कवर किया प्रभु जी ऑलमोस्ट आप
थैंक यू।
सीरियल
ओके
हरि
आप
बोल,
लोगों
जय
आप
हो।
लोगों को बहुत मिस कर रहा हूँ bro. I'm missing all of you so much.
हरि
I'm
बोल,
missing you so much.
हरि
I
बोल।
feel like jumping and coming to Shamadesh now.
हरि हरि
हरि हरि बोल, हरि 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 बोल, हरि हरि
After meeting Rasakrida Babu, the whole family आ गया. Shamadesh
हरि
family.
हरे
And
कृष्ण।
Radha Babu made a big army now. 2,000 devotees पीछे वो देख के और खुशी हो रहा है.
नहीं वो तो आप लोग का मर्जी है, मैं तो
हरि बोल प्रभु.
हरि बोल, हरि बोल,
आप बहुत प्यार से रखते हो. The good thing is you're very humble and very affectionate to everybody, which I have to learn from you.
बोलिए all your mercy.
हरि बोल. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
हरि बोल, हरे कृष्ण, हरे कृष्ण,
हरे कृष्ण
Nitai Gaur Sitanath
हरि
Premanand.
हरि 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 हरि
जय
बोल, हरि
हो।
बोल, हरि हरि हरि
अखंड
हरि
कोटि
बोल,
वैष्णव वृंद की जय हो
जय
Jai
जय
Jai
जय
Jai.
जय, हरि बोल, हरि
हरि
बोल,
हरि
Hari
बोल।
bol. Hari bol. Hare Krishna.
ओके सदानंद प्रभु